I'm walking along Washington Street, approaching the corner of Beacon Street in Somerville, Massachusetts, right on the border with Cambridge. And you can see here the sign for Dali Restaurant and Tapas Bar. It's a Spanish restaurant that has been here at this corner for a little bit over 23 years. It focuses on Spanish dishes, and we're here for In the Kitchen with Eva as part of our National Cuisines project. And today's specialty is going to be the Spanish dish known as paella. Paella has a regional personality, having originated in Valencia, but is generally considered to be a national dish of Spain. And Cesar, who is the manager, and Amparo, who is the chef, have kindly consented to let us film the process of making paella.
We think the success of having a good paella is to have very good ingredients. That's what we try to do here. We just try to get the best we can from Spain, whatever is available for us.
That's one thing that kept coming up when I was reading about food from Spain, that it's really about the fresh quality ingredients and not having the flavors overwhelmed. The seasonings complement the ingredients as opposed to overwhelming them.
Yes.
And I assume it's very popular on your menu, paella?
It is, yes. And you know, once you tell the customer this is a Spanish restaurant from Spain, because you have to explain, that way they don't expect nachos or anything. So they immediately realize that paella, that's the first thing they come to their minds.
Yeah,
so paella has become all around the world the signature dish of Spain.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was reading that in the 19th century, as the dish was evolving, that people would sit around together with long spoons and eat paella from the same pot.
Yes, yeah.
Is that how it's eaten in Spain today, or is that changing somewhat?
Well, they probably still do it on the fairs, yes. But they still do it. They do it outside on the wood.
That's the traditional way?
Yes,
okay.
The flavors.
And is there any kind of specific wood that's used, or it doesn't really matter?
Well, it depends where they are. Usually they used to carry their bag of rice and with them and the pen, and then wherever they were with their sheep or herding their animals, they will do it.
So work, cook in the field, go back to work.
Yeah.
Very efficient.
Yes. Oh yeah.
It's a wonderful tradition. Welcome to In the Kitchen with Eva, and as part of our ongoing project on National Cuisines, we're focusing today on the country of Spain, located on the Mediterranean. And many of you know that paella has emerged, at least in the minds of many Americans, as the national dish of Spain. So we're very fortunate today to be able to visit with Dali's restaurant, which is located in the Inman Square area of Cambridge, bordering Somerville. And we have the manager of Dali's, Cesar, if you can tell your name.
Salgado, Cesar Salgado.
Who's the manager, who has very graciously consented to let us film the process of paella, and will also do some instruction for us so that we can learn about the key ingredients that make paella, a little bit of the history and how it fits into Spanish cuisine, as well as something about the pan, which features very importantly in making paella. And we have Dali's chef, whose name is? Amparo. Muchísimas gracias. And the famous paella pan here. Okay, so let's start off with a few questions for Senor Cesar. If you could just explain to our viewers a little bit about how paella originated in Spain. I did a little bit of reading, and it seems that it started out in the area of Valencia as a peasant food, so maybe if you can talk a little bit about that.
Yes, they said that the more the Arabics brought the rice and the saffron and a lot of species over to Spain, and as you said, this was a peasant dish, and paella basically is they name it paella as for the pen, because that's the paellera.
Paella.
Basically, paella is not necessarily what you put in the paella, what is on top, but it's basically the rice. It's rice, olive oil, and water. That's what they used to do before. Now they start putting different things on it, adding spices and meats. So it's a whole world you can do with paella.
And there are lots of variations on it, right? Depending on the region?
Many, yes. Many.
And what kind do you make here at Dali? Is yours a mixture of meats and seafood, or do you focus on one in particular?
We do the traditional Valenciana, it's seafood and meats, and we also make the seafood only, and also vegetarian.
Okay.
Yes.
And today Amparo is going to make for us which version of paella?
We're going to try to make the Valenciana.
Okay.
Which is the meats and seafood. And they're going to start. We start usually making a sofrito, which is this one here. The end product is the sofrito, made with olive oil, peppers, tomatoes, onions, garlic, herbs.
Okay, so this is the basis of the sofrito.
And saffron, yes.
And with saffron, which is the key ingredient that defines paella.
Yes.
And then you mix that into this lovely sofrito, which is beautifully colored.
Yes.
Okay.
In the other side we have fish broth, which made with the fresh fish.
Oh, you make it fresh.
Bones. We make it. Yes.
Excellent.
We throw there some vegetables and some bay leaves and spices. Very little salt, and we cook it until everything is dissolved. We have a very thick broth.
Okay.
Then after that we put the calasparo rice, or the rice which is the traditional rice, Spanish rice.
Is this a long grain, a short grain?
It's a short grain.
It's a short grain rice.
Fat grains, yes.
So it's similar to the kind of rice that you would use to make risotto, but different.
Similar,
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Probably risotto, I think is smaller, but yeah.
Okay.
This is very similar.
Okay.
Then we proceed to mix the sofrito with the calasparo rice, with the rice. We like to leave it on the sofrito to get some color from the saffron. Okay.
Okay.
Then she will start putting everything together.
Okay, and then the other ingredients. Can you
the
take
other
us through
ingredients,
them?
yes. We have a Spanish sausage.
Yep.
Chorizo. We have butifarras, which is also some kind of chorizo. It's only pork, just pork.
Okay.
We have chicken. Some things like the chicken and the meats, they can be done first.
Save you
ahead
cooking
of time. Save you, yes. We have the seafood. We put mussels, clams.
Beautiful squid.
Squid.
Nice and fresh.
Yes. Put some shrimp.
Nice jumbo shrimp.
Yes. This is for garnish at the end. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Then I
put
see
some
you
fish.
And the fish is a tilapia, correct?
Yes.
Is that commonly used, or do people use other kinds of fish?
Sometimes we use some other kinds. It depends. Pretty much on the market.
chef's choice.
Yes.
Okay, and then I see some fresh green peas.
Yes.
And finally here you have, is that artichoke?
Artichokes, yes.
Okay.
Salted artichokes.
And they look like they've been braised or roasted already.
We roast a little bit, yes.
To give them some color.
Some color, exactly.
Okay, great. So these are the basic ingredients of the paella.
Yes.
And now we're going to watch the chef, Amparo, prepare for us. And I just have one last question, because people often ask about the paella pan.
Yes.
And there's a special pan that you use. You can't just use any pan, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So what makes the paella pan special?
Well, there is a very thin metal. It's not they don't use stainless steel. This
Okay.
is just thin metal, and you have to usually at the end when you wash it, you should clean it very well and put some oil on it.
To
That way it
season
doesn't
it.
rust.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I see it's flat.
It's very light, not
Yeah.
flat. Yeah. Usually has
With
some
the two
little
handles.
dots, two handles, very shallow. You know.
Perfect.
So that's it.
Okay, so we'll watch the chef work her magic on these ingredients and turn them into a beautiful
Yeah.
paella.
Only put it.
I'm going to put the sofrito,
Okay.
the base of the pan.
Now, do you use olive oil because it's
Yes.
okay? And on a low flame because olive oil you can't use high flame with it, right? Okay.
Then put the calasparra rice with the sofrito.
Uh huh. I can already smell it, and it smells delicious.
Yeah.
And the coloring is from saffron.
Saffron,
already.
yeah.
Mhm.
Very special saffron.
Now, it's my understanding that saffron is one of the most expensive
Very
herbs in the
expensive.
world, right?
Yes.
So fortunately for this dish, you don't need tons to season and color the dish. Is that correct?
It's correct.
Okay.
I put the butifarras,
Uh-huh.
the chorizo,
Okay, so those are the two different kinds of sausage
Yeah.
that are uniquely Spanish.
chicken.
Mm-hmm. And how do you prepare the chicken? Is it just baked and seasoned, or?
It's bacon.
Okay.
It's baked.
And what kind of clams do you use? Any particular type is best?
Yes. I'm maybe for the season. The
Seasonal. Okay. So steamers.
says I put the fish stuff.
So you add enough fish stock to cover.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. This is put the
Uh-huh. And then you turn the flame up.
layer.
So is the idea that you want to bring this to a boil before you turn it down to simmer?
Yes. Because the ingredients in the mixer and with the rice.
Okay.
The mix for the flavors.
Okay.
Side.
And then also the stock absorbs into the rice.
Yes.
Okay. So that'll take a little while. And Amparo, are you from Spain yourself?
No. It's
Okay.
from Colombia.
From Colombia.
Yeah.
Yo conozco un poco de Colombia.
Sí.
Yo tuve la oportunidad de visitar a Cartagena.
Es linda Cartagena.
Muy bonito la. Yeah.
Linda Cartagena.
Did you find it hard to learn how to cook Spanish food? A little.
I like it. I just like it.
It's very flavorful,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah. But it's a little similar for the food in my country, but the Spain is very much rich in herbs and spices.
Mm.
Yeah.
What are the main herbs that are used in Spanish cooking?
Cumin. Thyme.
Cumin.
Oregano.
Bay leaves.
It's a little bit
Oregano.
similar to Moroccan. Yes.
Yeah.
Because I make a lot of Moroccan food, and it's cumin,
Yes.
cinnamon, and I just made a dish with saffron,
Yes.
preserved lemons,
Yes.
and olives.
Yeah. I mean, it's the Spanish cooking is a lot of Arabic influence.
Delicious.
North African influence, so it's great. Yeah.
The best food.
Yeah.
Now, I believe, if memory serves me, that saffron is made from, is it a crocus plant?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Amparo, after having simmered it for a while, has added some other ingredients. She's added the shellfish.
Yes.
She's added the shrimp, large shrimp.
Yes, shrimp.
And those, of course, get added more toward the end because they don't need that much time to cook. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And all in all, Amparo, how much time would you say it takes to simmer the paella?
About 15 minutes or 20 minutes.
15 to 20 minutes?
Yes.
Okay.
Because they combine.
You can see that the rice is getting bigger as it's absorbing the stock.
Yeah. This is I need very creamy the rice.
You like it creamy?
Very creamy.
Yeah, because I imagine there are different levels of doneness that people prefer.
Yeah.
I just wish my camera could pick up scents and you all could smell how delicious it is.
Yeah, this is at this point is less fire.
Okay, so you turn the heat down.
Reduce fire.
Okay.
Okay. Then the last step is put the snow crab.
And that takes very little time to cook, right?
This is only for the decoration, but it's really good.
Okay, so this is a mixed paella which has chicken, the chorizo, another type of Spanish sausage. It's got mussels, clams, snow crab, and for vegetables it has fresh green peas, artichokes, and it's got the sofrito made with red pepper, green pepper, onion, and garlic, which is mixed up with the saffron, oregano, thyme, and other herbs as the basic sofrito in olive oil.
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's good.
Okay. Okay, she's adding the next to last ingredient before the garnish, which is the artichoke. Okay, so after simmering it on the stove, it's finished in the oven for about how long?
Maybe 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay, so the next to last step is she's adding some green peas for color. It just came out of the oven where it cooked for about 5 minutes or so. And you can see that the liquid has basically been absorbed. And there's some beautiful, fresh, roasted, sliced red peppers that she's adding. And it occurs to me that paella is as much artwork as it is cooking, since it's going to be served in this pan. You can see that she's made a beautiful design with the snow crab in the center. And she's done a nice job arranging the chicken and the clams and the strips of roasted red pepper so that it's very, very attractive as it's been put together. A few wedges of lemon for garnish go on either side of the paella plate. Beautiful. Meals at Dali are served in a very festive atmosphere in the dining room, and you can see that the bar features beautiful Mediterranean tiles, that bright blue with yellow. There's the bar. And now for the best part of the experience, Amparo and Cesar have very graciously set a table for me to sample the paella. Cesar, we've been in the kitchen with Amparo and Cesar at Dali's restaurant in Somerville, Massachusetts. They very graciously allowed me to film as they prepared one of their signature dishes, which is also considered to be a national dish of Spain, paella. And now comes the best part, and this is a big treat for me. getting to sample this Spanish dish, which I've always been a fan of. And I should say for my viewers, I actually made a paella when I was about 11 years old. And if memory serves me, the recipe came from the Grand Diplôme cookbook that my mother taught me to cook from. So now we're going to sample and see how it tastes. Okay. It is absolutely delicious. I could eat this whole pan by myself.
You're welcome to.
The taste is subtle. The flavors are perfectly blended. The rice is not dry. It's got a nice creaminess, which goes to Amparo's skill, and making rice is a skill. Nothing is overcooked, and the ingredients are really allowed to shine. I highly recommend that you find your way to Dali's as soon as you can and order the paella. It's delicious and it does Spain proud. Muchísimas gracias por la oportunidad de estar con ustedes para este proceso. Gracias.
Un placer.
You can see I've worked my way through my paella. I'm still going. If I could, I would eat this whole plate, but even I couldn't do that, so I'm going to take some of it home. There's one little feature that I want to point out about paella. When it cooks, the rice sticks to the bottom and begins to get crisp. And apparently, people who are in the know have the presence of mind to fight over this tasty spoonful of rice. It's called sucra in Spanish, and I'm going to try it now because mine was beginning to do that toward the end. It's sweeter. It almost tastes caramelized. It's crispy. And I can see why people fight over it.